Hi, my name is Emma Lewis, and my topic for the lesson plan project was nutrition for athletes, and I specifically focused on creating beneficial pre and post workout snacks for athletes, and I focused on muscle recovery and electrolyte replenish. My project focused on specific foods that would benefit athletes for muscle recovery pre and post workout, and specific foods and drinks that would benefit athletes post an endurance workout that would help replenish their electrolytes. My audience would be college athletes whose ages would range between 17 and 22 years old, and I kept that in mind when making my project and tried to create activities that would keep their attention but also be educational. I thought that my lesson plan project went very well. In my written lesson plan project, I was able to provide a great deal of detail and provide step by step instructions for how I would present this project to the class. And I was able to also give examples of what should be on every single slide of my presentation. I was also able to create worksheets for myself for this lesson plan project. Instead of looking up worksheets that would fit my project, I decided to create my own so they would best fit this project. What went well in my Cliff Notes version presentation was that I was very well rehearsed, therefore, I was able to keep a lot of eye contact and I did not need to use my notes. I also printed out my Google Slides and was able to show each slide as I presented it, so I was very well prepared. And I also provided examples of the paper plate activity of what would be on the paper plate for pre the presentation and after the presentation. And I also went to my local store and bought a small to-go size of the bone broth to be able to show the students that it is accessible to get, and there are really small sizes of bone broth for on the go. So it was very practical and I was very well prepared for that. But there are some things that also didn't go very well. My biggest thing that could have used improvement and did not go so well was that I turned in my lesson plan project 30 minutes late, and I did suffer the late penalty for that. So if I had to do this project again, I would make sure that I turned this project in on time and paid more attention to that. Another thing that I didn't do so well and could have used improvement on in my written lesson plan was that I could have sectioned off the paragraphs. That way it wasn't just one big blurb of what my lesson plan project would be, and I would section it off so it was easier to follow and easier to read. In my Cliff Notes version, I did use filler words a lot when I was in between sentences and was transitioning from one topic to another. So to prevent that, I could have practiced more and just slowed down, and I was also very nervous, which is why I was using those filler words. In conclusion, if I had to redo this project again, I would keep in mind that student athletes do not have a lot of time or accessibility to go to the grocery store all the time or to make these beneficial pre and post workout snacks that are super thought out and sometimes do take time to create. So, if I were to do this again, I would add another section of my presentation where I gave tips and tricks on how to meal prep and also specific recipes that the athletes could use and follow. Instead of just brainstorming in class, I would have provided them with specific recipes, whether it was using the bone broth and the quinoa, and I would have shown easy ways to meal prep, such as containers that you could get that are easy for meal prepping, just to give them more advice and to make it more practical for busy student athletes who are juggling multiple things at once.